Yo,
What's good? What's good?
welcome back. This is humanity's last podcoast.
let me
thinking of
run that
home.
intro. Let me
I'm
run that
thinking of
intro.
home. I'm thinking of home. I'm talking about the coast.
This is Humanity's Last Hope podcast.
Humanity's last hope podcast. What's up? What's
forgive
up?
my partner over here.
I'm just so excited because it's your birthday.
Oh, it is my birthday.
Happy birthday, man.
Appreciate it. At
Happy
the time
birthday.
of us filming this, recording this, I am 34 officially.
A good solid 34, looking 25, looking good, man.
Black don't crack. You did.
Yep. Happy birthday.
Yeah, man. I don't really do celebrations on like birthdays and stuff like that. It's not my thing. But it's just another day to feel blessed. You know what I'm saying? It's no different than tomorrow or the day before. Another opportunity, get to this bag, get to my life goals. And I'm not like that kind of cat that's like, this year is my year. Every year is my year when
Every
I think
year.
of, yeah.
Right.
And I'm not like a New Year's resolution kind of cat either. So
Me neither.
no, like, oh, in my 30s, this is gonna be how my 30s gonna play out. Like that, I feel like those are traps. You know what I mean? So for me, I treat every day like it's potentially could be my last, because some people out here it is. So I
That's
think seizing the day, making it your best, your better, is like all you can really do, and celebration of your life. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Agreed. Yeah, I know well, one, I was, excited for you to, turn 34. Just because, and I'm pretty sure you're the same way. I'm always more excited for other people's birthdays than I am my own.
Yeah, I'm probably on that level.
So,
yeah.
I was like, man, today's his birthday, man. That's cool. I know he's got to be feeling good. And when you came in here, I asked you, I said, hey, man, what's it feel like to be 34? It feels the same. So
feels the same
feels
as
the
when
same
I was
as I did
33.
yesterday.
Yeah,
So I was like,
yesterday.
I mean, yes, obviously, but I was hoping for a bit more of a, emotional response, but that's him. That's Erron for
so
you.
here's the thing too. Like we'll tap on this for a sec. Like my energy comes from like every day, right? I don't feel like my energy.
Before we jump into that,
oh, yeah.
just real quick, hey, you guys, make sure that you subscribe, follow, and then connect with us on our socials at Scotto Says,
at Erron Vonner,
and at Erron Vonner. And make sure you guys are following along with the podcast and connect with us.
Housekeeping. Yeah, we got to remember to do the housekeeping, bro. I think that's going to be one of them things once we catch our cadence, we'll remember to do housekeeping items. You have a good memory, so I appreciate that.
Yeah, no worries.
But yeah, as far as that, it's like it doesn't have to be my birthday for me to feel like, you know what, I'm at my best, or this is the day I can achieve what I need to. But I'm always in a state of being turned up. So, it really doesn't shift too crazy. When I get around people, though, like more people I get around, like the more like it carries through. Outside of celebration, stuff like that, I find pleasures in, what I'm saying, just kicking it, being around people that are having a good time. I feed off that, and that pushes me forward. You know what I'm saying? When I see other people's success, it makes me realize how achievable something is.
Right.
And then the same thing with happiness and enjoyment. Sometimes I tend to carry like that empath type of vibe. You know what I'm saying? I see other people get into it, like it just pushes me to do better.
Yeah. Because you got that not representation necessarily, but really, it's just the example. Like, oh, he was able to do that, then if he did, I can definitely do it.
Exactly. It's the POC, proof of concept.
Proof of concept, man. I love that. Yes. I love that phrase.
Yes.
I love it. Let me prove this concept first, then we'll get it cracking.
But the thing is, too, we could tap on some of that, because a lot of people...
Well, before we do, I do have one question for you.
Yeah. Okay.
So, you being 34, is your life currently how you envisioned it to be maybe 10 years ago? Or, when you were, because, and I talk a lot about this, and I really say it to everybody, like the vision we have of ourselves that we're always shooting for. Are you that person now?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Absolutely not.
At 34?
At 34, I'm absolutely not where I want to be in certain areas, or where I think I was going to be, both good and bad, right? So for me, 10 years ago, wasn't even considering buying a house. We got off the 2008 as kids, you know what I'm saying, teenagers going to college. So that's what we understood real estate to be, was just a wipeout. You know what I'm saying? A
Mhm.
complete tragedy. Even though it wasn't really housing, it was more of
Especially in
the.
California.
And the crazy thing about that, it was actually a lending crisis. It wasn't like a housing crisis. Like, people don't realize that it was
Yes.
actually loans and lending that was
Yes.
the problem with the housing market. It caused the adverse effect to it.
Yep.
But that was my methodology. So I never thought like I'd buy any properties. I never thought about considering real estate. Never thought about considering credit. So I feel like there's a lot of areas where I progressed that I didn't see myself 10 years back. You know what I'm saying? In good ways, right? And there's also areas where I feel that I could improve more. You know what I'm saying? Be better at
Mhm.
something. Uh, do better in places or aspects, like for example, like I'm a better person in, like, I would say when COVID first started, I was drinking a lot, right? There was periods where it's like it was bored, you know what I'm saying? And I was like, I never did this before this, right? Drinking at the house type of thing. I'm usually drinking over somebody else's house or
Mhm.
at a function or some event.
Right.
But then when there's nothing to do, you know what I'm saying? My boredom kicked in, my idle hands kicked in. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So
Mhm.
like that's something I'll never think that I would have to deal with. You know what I mean? Like 10 years ago. Like, even though then I'm probably having a good time going out with friends and things like that. Like, drinking was never something that concerned me.
Yeah.
When it came down to like enjoying myself, it was just something that was a part of it.
Because of the infrequency, right? So you
Yeah,
were
the
like, you were a
frequency.
binge drinker just on
Yeah.
the weekends.
It was just whenever it came up, right? It wasn't
Okay.
something that like I'm thinking I need this to go have a good time, or I need this to. It wasn't a habit. It was more something that was a part of the situation. If it was there, it was there. If it wasn't, it wasn't.
Okay.
I would partake or I wouldn't.
I
You know
got
what I'm saying? Like, COVID happened. It was just like, if we doing anything, I had to drink. It was like, yeah, it was like I need to get something, because that's what it is. It's my habit. That's what like I tie it to, right?
Yeah.
And because I had to, like, a low level of an excuse to do it at the house, so anything was an opportunity. You know what I'm saying? I really adjusted that time, that scale, and I would never think that would be something that like I would have to struggle with. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
10 years ago,
Right.
because I was like, I still drank in college. I enjoyed myself, but I was so focused on football and education when I was in college, and then after I was focused on like my career and stuff like that, and then trying to pursue football again. But I was so hyper focused on that, like alcohol was like literally over there,
Yeah.
not a concern for me.
Right.
And if it was like every 4 months, like every time we go to Vegas or something, like, and it's only once or twice a year situations. But then to get to that compressed point where it's just like, man, I just drank 3 days in a row, like, and this ain't Vegas. You know what I mean? So for me, it was a bit of a struggle, something that I'm still overcoming, but that's not something I would think like I would be, you know what I'm saying, at this point in my life.
I see.
And I know there's a lot of people that deal with drinking or, abuse, whether it's drugs or alcohol and stuff like that. And they have their own, like, you know what I'm saying, path and journey that they've been traversing,
Yeah.
and struggles that they're dealing with internally. But I found out, like, through therapy and other reasons like that, like, I wasn't just drinking just to do it. There was other underlying reasons, right? But that's like a completely separate podcast. You know what I'm saying? We could do this at a different time, but just to keep it brief, there's a few things that I feel that I could be further along in, and that's just being more critical on myself. I'm the type of person, I like to press my envelope. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I'm able to achieve something, like, I got to do 2 times better the next time, 3 times better the next time, and I got to outdo myself in order to transcend those boundaries. Because if I can't, then it's just like I'm stagnant. And stagnation is like very boring. It's
Man,
very
it's
boring.
the most boring.
Yeah.
Nothing grows in stagnation.
Yeah.
You get like a pool of water that just sits there. No, no fresh water coming in and out. I mean,
bacteria grows.
Bacteria grows, and it's just
you develop
becomes
habits, problems. You know what I'm saying? Stagnation is
Right.
is a thief of like really progress, and you're very much similar to me in that aspect too, because when you were going through like any of your shedding moments, you know what I'm saying, as a person, like, what was the main driving factor behind those? Like, what led you to like go down traversing a journey to expand your horizon and your mind about like whatever that time frame was for you? Like, any of your journeys, you can speak to any of them, because I know there's been a couple for you.
Well, for me, because of how I was raised, and really, ever since I was a kid, small kid, before I started playing football, before I started skateboarding,
Mm-hmm.
which skateboarding was my first love, before I started doing any of those things involving sports and other people, like I I came across something, I don't know where. Well, I should probably start with this. My mom was really involved in self development when she was younger too, and so
Okay.
that rubbed off on us. She would read. She read us like passages out of Rich Dad Poor Dad when we were kids.
Oh, so you had early access to that.
Yeah, she was
That's
reading
what's
that.
up.
She really instilled in that in me, in us.
Uh,
And I remember she would read all these self help books and stuff like that. And every morning
mm-hmm.
she would and you see my mom. She's kind of 5'10". She's tall. She would be stomping through the house early morning, every single morning, clapping her hands. Come talking about, get ready, get ready. Let's get pumped up, excited, and motivated today, boys. Every morning.
Your mom is on a 10,
bro,
all the fucking time.
and that's
bro.
why I'm a morning person.
Yeah.
That's why, like, bro, I like, okay, you need me to wake up at 2 a.m.? That's easy.
Bro, yeah, and that's crazy you said that, because your mom is always on a 10.
She's always on 10,
Yeah,
bro.
it's
There's
never
no
really a
lower
6.
level.
She doesn't have a gauge below 7, I don't think. Her standard state is
and
7.
if she
and up.
does, she's like,
She's sleeping.
she's probably asleep, bro.
She's
and she's a
probably
light sleeper. Like, she don't, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, y'all gotta meet his mom, bro. If you knew his mom, you would understand.
She's truly
she's a
one of a
character,
kind.
bro. She's
Truly-
a character.
truly a
Lively
one
as
of one.
motherfucker. She's like,
Yep.
how old is she?
57 now.
Bro, she acts like she's 25, 30, bro.
She's got that
vitality
young
like a
energy,
motherfucker.
bro. I know. She just got it, man. She's been blessed.
She's very vibrant. So
Yep.
that's the way you said that, bro. That actually aligns with
That's
like how I see. Like
yeah.
she's true to
that's
nature.
that's how it was. And
Yep.
so, I came across the term sole proprietor. And bro, I'm telling you, as like 8 years old, like I went and researched what sole proprietor meant.
Yeah,
And it was a business owner who
Uh-huh.
controlled everything.
yeah,
Like who started it from the ground up, who, you know what I'm saying, with the capital and the resource, everything,
Yeah.
time, everything. I was like, oh yeah, that's what I want to be. I want to be a sole proprietor. I want to be a business owner.
okay. And this is how old are you?
8.
Damn, bro.
Yeah, I was young.
I understood that term when I was like 27.
Yeah, well, that was all my understanding was.
I mean, but still, the term,
Yeah.
like, I'm gonna be real with you. I understood like the entrepreneurship, but like as far as you seen the value in it at that age is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's very like precipitative of you just like kind of understand the value of that at that time. Like I didn't understand the value of it until I was 27.
Well, what's
In that
crazy is
word.
because, and I'm not like entrepreneur extraordinaire or anything like that. I'm still on my journey and I still got a mountain of things, a universe of things I want to accomplish. But, I credit to where I'm at right now because of my foundation. Like some
Foundation.
people go their whole lives without reading Rich Dad Poor Dad or being introduced to some of the concepts in that book or having a figure like my mom early in their lives. You know what I'm saying? So you asked me the question, what was it, for me, like those shedding moments, what caused it? And, what's the reasons? 3. 1, you talked about POC, right? Proof of concept.
Yes,
I got to
POC.
prove my mom right,
Yes.
period. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got to prove, I got to make sure that her sacrifice, all the sacrifices that she made
Yeah.
weren't for nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, she sacrificed her life.
Yeah.
She never got in a relationship. She never got anything. Like, me and my brothers were her life.
Yeah.
So it's like, nah, my you know what I'm saying? And I've done it before on and off, but, like taking care of my mom, making sure that, you know what I'm saying? Because she would hype us up, proving her right. That's first goal.
Bro, it's like the biggest cheerleader.
Oh, man.
Biggest fucking cheer. And she does that like naturally.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If you ever need somebody to like, and not to interrupt you, to like really kind of carry that flame and kind of build you on. Sometimes they put you on your ass because they're parents.
Right.
But like, I would say your mom is definitely that kind of figure. You know what I'm saying? She'll talk you up. She'll talk your shit. She'll stand on it with you type of thing. And that type of energy is very flourishing.
Bro, I'm
Nourishing,
telling you,
what I mean?
like, I mean, she has just a crazy, and it's a double-edged sword. You know, 'cause
Yes,
she
it
has
is.
she has a powerful ability to motivate.
That opinion too, though, bro.
Bro.
It comes with some flames. It does.
It does. And, this could be another pocket where we talk about parents, but, she has a powerful ability to motivate, but she's also got a powerful ability to manipulate, too. And so, you got to make sure, you know
what side you on at the time.
Q's, you know what I'm saying? Because she'll hit you with one of her manipulative tricks, and then you be like halfway through and then realize like, oh shit, got my ass again.
You butt naked, not realizing like you exposed.
Bro, yeah.
That's hella funny. So yeah, it is a double because it can lull you to safety and then hit you with the quick one jab right hook on your ass.
Hey, but shout out to all the parents out there, man, because I know my mom was a kid when she had us, man. She was only 23 when she had me, 21 when she had my brother. So, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to all the parents doing it and have done it. So I appreciate you guys. And
show homage.
Yep. And so
2 and 3. What's 2 and 3?
And then the second one was I'd be damned. I felt the sting of regret before. Oof. I felt the pain of regret.
That one burns different in the chest.
It hits,
for real.
bro, and it persists. And it doesn't go away. There's nothing you can do about it. So, I made a declaration to myself, I refuse to live life with regret. So, and then the third one being, I just want to, I want to be somebody, I want to achieve that version of myself, period. I want to, the version I have of myself, and I pray to God every day, that he works with me on this and allows these things to happen and it's happening in real time. And so I'm grateful, and it really just what it takes is you just jumping. You got to take that risk. You got to risk the good for the great.
Let's stay there for a second because that's a tough pill to swallow.
Tough. You got to,
to pass up something good for great because sometimes you might need even in that situation that good. You might have been counting on that good. And you got to put it to the side for the great. It's a serious sacrifice. Not everybody is capable of doing it.
Not everybody is.
And the thing is too, like I myself, like have probably stumbled and taken longer than it was expected to take because of that. I was more willing to take the good. Like for example, football, right? It aligns perfectly with what you said, and I'll explain why. So when I was coming out of high school, I wasn't heavily recruited.
Yep.
Like really at all. So I got in because I knew somebody that was coaching at the Southern Utah University, right? However, it's like as we're getting in the weeds of like football and what it truly is at that time, and like what it means to be an athlete, with no supporting cast, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. After the fact, you know what I mean? Like you're really just on your own at that point. Like it's the time of like, we weren't starving, but we didn't have like capital to just really be doing what we wanted, eat what we wanted, right? Yeah. And you can't get that or attain that from anybody else because then you're at risk of being ineligible for, favoritism and stuff. All the bullshit that was before the NIL situation, right? NIL. But that was the truth we were living in. As you're going through the process, bro, like year 2, 3, you realize like, man, like I should have been selfish. As an athlete, I should have been selfish. I should have looked out for myself, and I should have done what was best for me. And I'm not telling like people to not be a team player, but understand like there was this interview that Cam Newton had, and he was imparting some wisdom on these kids, right? As he went through the same systems, you know what I'm saying? JUCO, then what was it? What was the school? It was JUCO, and then it was Auburn.
I think he went to Florida first, then he bounced back to the JUCO, and then he went to Auburn.
So he did he did the dance, right?
Yeah, he did the
dance. And so for him, like he realized through that trials and the situations, like these schools is like really don't need you. Like they tell you they do, or they tell you like you're a pivotal part of the organization, but when it comes down to it, they don't need you. And being that that's the case, you have to concern yourself with you and where your future's at. And he was telling these cats like, bro, you got to be selfish. You got to realize that your life doesn't stop after you graduate. You know what I'm saying? The relationship with that school is going to stop. But yours is not. So you have to worry about where you're going next, what's going on. Like theirs is going to continue with the next recruit.
Exactly. That whole new
A whole new
class.
class. So like for me, right? A lot of the stuff that I realized going through D1 school is that it's very political. Um, and on top of that, if you approach it in a manner to where you're selfless and you're just worried and you're reliant on the coaches to get you somewhere,
Mm-hmm.
it's a almost a sunken fallacy. Like you're gonna, I think that's the right term, right? So you're gonna pretty much put yourself in a position where your livelihood is in somebody else's hands,
Mm-hmm.
and now you relinquish that power,
Mm-hmm.
and whatever they choose to do is how it's gonna work out. You know what I'm saying? As opposed to, like, for example, what was good at the time, right? A scholarship offer. That was good at the time because I didn't have any other ones. That was the good. I needed it. That was I was like, you know what I'm saying? I wasn't really going to college or otherwise because I couldn't afford to.
Or so you thought.
So I thought, right, at that time.
Mm-hmm.
I was in that the survival mindset, you know, the poor mindset, like how we not paying for it. I'm not going into debt. Like I don't have a job, you know what I mean? So
Right.
I know savings. So like, how's this going to work? And that was the good, right? That was that carrot. And the great would have been maybe walking on at a bigger D1 school. Because what I realized is, bro, them schools just get eyes on them off top. You could be basic at that school, but you might have the televised visual that's like resonating with all these commentators, resonating with these recruits. Like you're seeing more frequently. You know what I mean? Just that exposure alone, if you're good and talented, can drastically change the game for you.
Yeah, because then once you insert yourself into those programs, the program does the rest.
Yeah, the program. Well, not necessarily. So you intertwine with the program, right? You have to be able to like mesh with the program at the same time. You have to fit into the system. However,
True.
However,
You're
when
right.
you fit into the system, it's as at 1/11th, is as an individual. So your talents should still shine individually,
Yes.
right? So if you get to the point where it's like, okay, the good thing was I had a scholarship potential right here at this school, but I could have walked on with the same risk factor. The only difference is I would have been sacrificing the cost up front to have to go to maybe pay for a tuition of school, or not tuition, a semester of school, and I had enough confidence in myself, like I'm gonna get a scholarship, but I didn't execute that. I didn't go that route. I went, that was just the route I took, right?
Yeah.
But that aligns with what you're saying. So, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes you got to sacrifice the good for the great, because I regret not just walking on at a D1 higher level, BCS or FBS at the time.
Right.
Team.
No, like from one of the power
Yeah,
conferences.
you know what I'm saying? Because
yeah.
I feel I could have competed at the same level.
Could have.
And I would have had a lot more visual, a lot more views. You know what I'm saying? In the sense of like eyes on it, that would have got me more heavily recruited. You know what I mean? But once I went through the system, I realized, like, bro, like after you done, like they not really concerned with you.
Not at all.
Yeah, whatsoever. Like
No.
they're not. You know what I'm saying? It's like you served your time. You built up the program. Deuces.
Well, and to your point too, unless it benefits the program.
Unless it benefits
let's say
them,
you know what I'm saying? Like, hey, look, we have a history of getting guys to the league. You know what I'm saying? And then those coaches have connections, right?
Yep.
Oh yeah, this is a great player, character, whatever.
But that's the crazy thing. You said that too. We were the building blocks for that program. We were the coach was his first year there. He just transferred as a coach to that school. So he was revamping the whole program.
I see.
So my freshman year, like that's his first year. And so we built up the program. Now the program's getting looked at, getting, you know what I'm saying, recruits and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But what I realized is, like, during that time, you know what I'm saying, it was a situation where my coach, like one of the players, my boy Miles, like this dude wanted to transfer to UT, University of Toledo.
Mm-hmm.
Because they put him in a position that he wasn't going to start at, and he wasn't getting enough burns. So he's like, I'm just going to go here and transfer. I'm going to probably, like, because at this time you have to lose a year if you transfer. Yep. You can't just do what you do now, right? Mm-hmm. You have to lose a year. So he was willing to sacrifice a year to go to another school because he had more opportunity to play there. And I think his dad went to that school too. So he had connections. So he was going to do that.
What year was he?
He was the same year as me.
So he was
20. We went 2008.
When he was considering transferring.
Oh, he was a junior.
Oh.
Actually, no, he was a redshirt junior because he's redshirted the year before that. I was a senior because I didn't redshirt ever, and he redshirted the year before that. He was a redshirt junior, so he was going to sacrifice that and then we'll play as a senior at the UT.
He would have been a redshirt senior.
Yeah, redshirt senior, but he would have still had that year. He would have just had to wipe the other year, but he still could have worked out with the program and everything like that, right? So I didn't know this at the time. He went to go talk to the coach, and he's like, and I was like, hey, so how did everything go? He's like, Nothing happened from it. I was like, what do you mean? He's like, he told me no. Like, I was like, what does that mean, bro? Like, you could, like, it's your scholarship, you can go. And he's like, nah, he has to sign off on letting me go. Like, he has to sign off on him to release him as a player at the school in order for him to go to the other school. He wasn't willing to let him go.
So what if he dropped out?
He could have dropped out, but that doesn't mean he would have been eligible to go play somewhere else, because his clock doesn't stop because he drops out.
I understand that, but like, he could have just unenrolled from the school.
He could have unenrolled from the school, but that doesn't mean he can still go to the next school and sign up. Like, he has to get that release. I didn't know that at the time. He's like, yeah, bro, he has to release me in order for another coach to be able to pick me up, like, legally. Because it's like NCAA has to, at this time, they have to be like strict, because they don't want people recruiting other people's players and them just dropping out, going to another school. This is before, like, things get like, this is the Wild Wild West right now. Right. Before that, it was more litigated, political.
Yep.
They wouldn't let people do it because they know people would take advantage and start recruiting players at other schools, tell them, hey, just drop out, we'll pick you up.
Yeah, I remember how that went,
bro. We're like teenagers, bro. We don't fucking know like how this shit actually
19, 20,
none of these things.
Your level of thinking, like, this dude he knows way.
Yeah, and so like, you're not taught this stuff. Like, I didn't know about clearinghouse when I was going to college, bro. There was a lot of shit like we weren't taught, and so when I found that out, I'm thinking like, damn, bro. And he said the reason he told him he wouldn't let him go is because I promised you that you would have I guess when he recruited him, I came to you with a promise, and I haven't held up that, so I'm gonna make sure I hold it up. And he's just like, what? Like, I'm asking you to let me go because I know this position isn't for me. Y'all have 3 other running backs that y'all know are gonna play over me, and like, I'm wasting my time. Like, you know what I'm saying? He could tell from the da-da-da. And the dude just refused to assign him. So he literally just had to stay playing, not playing on the field, but just stay on the team because that was a scholarship. So he didn't play at all the next year.
Didn't play at all?
At all. I don't think he played at all.
Wow.
But he essentially had to stay because that was his paying for his school. So complete waste of this thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was a salty situation. I felt salty, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm like, I didn't even know they could do that. But that was like my like awakening in the sense of like, damn, bro, I was so heavily reliant on these coaches getting me to where I need to be. I should have been doing it myself. So if I would have passed up the good, which was the scholarship opportunity there, to walk on, to compete, grab a scholarship, and I could have just walked on at a UCLA or something. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying it was popping at the time, but like, say, or Cal, like something like that, to where it's like they got more visuals and it would have been more opportunity.
Unlimited.
Yeah.
I remember one time I was talking to my head coach, Mazzoda, at the junior college. And this is when he was talking to me. He was like, hey, what's Erron gonna do? And I was like, I don't know. and I was like, I think he's gonna walk on.
Recruit me heavy.
Yeah, bro. I was like, I think he's gonna walk on at Southern Utah. He was like, he's too good for that. Tell him to come here. And I was like, I don't think he wants to do that.
Yeah, I didn't really want to. And the funny thing is too, like, it's crazy because I wrote off JUCO.
And you definitely shouldn't have.
Yeah, I didn't realize how like positive, like how heavily recruited JUCO is. I wrote that off though, be honest. But this comes from lack of education, bro. Which of our coaches is telling us about any of this shit?
I was screaming it to you.
No,
Everybody
no.
was screaming it to you.
But y'all are coming from a position where y'all on the team. It's biased. I'm talking about like nurturing us to get like, hey, these are some schools you want to think about going to, RCC or da-da-da. Like, there's
nobody was doing.
Nobody was grooming.
I know. Nobody did it.
Nobody did
not
it.
even teachers.
We were going to the schools that our friends were going to. Or we were going to the schools that we lived the closest to, bro.
Yeah, that's what happened.
We weren't really going to we weren't doing it like Damone's. Damone was trying to go wherever the coaches was trying to get him to go.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
But that was Damone, at a level where Damone, recruit was better.
Yeah, I mean, and Damone was different. Like his
awareness of that was a lot different than ours. We were going literally. Think about it.
Well, he was forced into that awareness because of how good of a player he was.
And think about your situation, right? Your brother went there.
Q
was going there. Mike was going there, potentially going there. Everybody from West Valley was essentially going there. And I'm thinking I was thinking differently. Like, I got to do something different. I can't do that. And
that would have been a good enough reason for me not to do it too.
Yeah, I got to do something different. I can't just go, because I'm not personally seeing anybody come out that school at the time.
Right, at the time.
But that doesn't mean it's not possible.
But it wasn't. Yeah,
my
year later,
my understanding. 2 years later, they went in the top JUCO.
it was a year later.
Like
They got like 7-8 guys out
yeah, like but
to
the thing
big schools.
the thing with me is I chose my route, right? My journey.
You did, and it wasn't a bad
It
route.
wasn't a bad one. It's just if I would have been more aware and peeped like how the school the system worked, I would have been using that bitch to the fullest.
Oh, I know you would have.
To the fullest.
I know.
But I was foolish and I just allowed myself to really just like rely on coaches to stand on their words and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? To groom you and this and that. They're like the biggest thing I'll tell a new upcoming athlete as far as, and this is why we tie it to good to best, right? Is bro, choose what's best for you. Don't choose what's good for you.
Right.
Choose what's best for you.
Yeah. And that goes back to there has to be like an underlying foundation there of, okay, one, yeah, you got to choose what's best for you, but how are you going to know to choose what's best for you?
You don't know.
So, that part there is tough because a lot of the kids that go through what we went through, and what you went through specifically, the reason why they be going through that is one reason or another, but for the most part is lack of education, right? Because you were the first one in your family to go to college. Right?
No. My family went to college.
Or okay, but what about like for sports?
For sports, no, I probably have cousins and stuff. You know what I'm saying, that went to play at college D1 schools.
Okay,
yeah.
Why didn't you reach out to them then?
It wasn't a lot of them. Oh no, because they were probably like after me, like or on the same time as me, and we also probably didn't have that kind of relationship like that. I knew.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So like in your immediate family, right?
Oh, in my immediate family, nah, like nobody.
Well, that's what I'm talking about.
Okay,
like
in
your immediate,
okay, I thought you meant my entire family. I always think family, everybody.
No.
Okay.
No, I know you have a large family.
Big as fuck.
But so like somebody that you could reach out to, you have direct contact with that can guide you.
Nah, nobody.
Yeah, nobody.
Not one person. Nobody past that.
So you didn't know. So it's the unknown unknowns. Like you didn't even know what you didn't know,
bro, at all.
So
I went in
blind,
butt naked, fresh, newborn pamper wearing ass. Like, bro, I was super shocked. Like when this happened, that I was like, dude, how fucking dumb how dumb are you not to even like peep this? This is like common sense.
I bet you that's what you regret the most, right? Just feeling just like not the fact that you didn't go to the school, but the fact that you didn't know. Because I know you pride yourself on somebody that, what I'm saying? Like,
bro, the fact that I didn't know, that I didn't think like I wanted to play football, I didn't dummy research it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Because that's who you are.
I was ill fucking prepared.
Bro.
It's to the max.
Yes.
I was just worried about like, and this is why I say it lines so well with this, like, you got to sometime pass the good for great. Even if it's like something that you think is needed, necessary. I was so content with having the good because I needed it to pay for school.
At the time,
outside of that, I didn't know who was gonna pay. Like, how was it gonna pay for school? I had no job. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I just graduated. I had no savings. I had no trust fund. So I'm like, I need to take this.
So what was your mindset at the time? Did you think, okay, so because I kind of remember how that went down. I know Thornburg reached out to somebody.
No.
Thornburg didn't do nothing?
Nah, it wasn't Thornburg, it wasn't Richie, it wasn't none of them, bro. Like I didn't know about clearinghouse, none of this shit at the time. I thought it was Thornburg
because he went to the same school as you.
Yeah, that's the funny thing. After he found out about it, he told me about him going to the same school. But the funny thing is, the dude that kind of connected me, was our track coach.
I know you told me
he was the dude that actually had a relationship with the coach.
Yeah,
and that was the only connection I had to that school at that time.
That's wild.
Wild as shit. And so
that's crazy.
I didn't know about clearinghouse.
That track coach was new, wasn't he?
Bro, new. His first fucking year track coaching. Like he seen that I was athletic and I was, pretty quick. Cause I was on the sprint team and stuff. But like he was willing. He's like, man, come here. I'm gonna take you to my trainer. This dude that trains DBs and receivers and stuff. And I'm gonna let you train with him for a day. And then if he says you cool, like I'll put in some words for you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So we used this network.
That's dope.
So that was cool, but it was like, nigga, he was like, so your clearinghouse all good? I'm like, what the fuck is that? It's like clearinghouse, like you have to complete the clearinghouse and all this stuff to even qualify. I'm like, dude, what the fuck is that? I had to Google search this, and like do it myself. No guidance, bro. I was like, nigga, this is April, by the way. This is April of my senior year. Like I'm about to graduate the next year, next month, next 2 months or something.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So I was like, dude, I was going in newborn. Like,
oh yeah, you didn't know nothing.
It's nothing. And then so I was just so content with getting in the door.
Yeah, because you was like the last dude off the Titanic
not,
into the boat,
bro,
like
not realizing how many doors existed past that door.
Yeah, no.
I was just happy enough to be in the first one. And that's what I'm saying. Like that good. I was content. It felt good. But I didn't have that like.
So you kind of answered my question then, because what I was gonna ask was, at the time, right? You thought, oh man, this is as good as it's gonna get. Like this is okay. So that was your mindset.
Yeah, like I didn't have the dog at the time to be like bark up. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, this ain't it. I wasn't self-aware enough. I didn't have nobody around
18,
me,
bro.
Nobody around me
Not
to like
18.
Yeah. Like nobody around me to help like, you know, impart the wisdom I needed to like that played at that level or at a higher level. It was just really just dumbfounded and like contentness.
Yep.
Is the best way I could describe it. And it kind of aligns, bro, with like, you know, our whole vision with this podcast and like our chats and stuff is really the regret of not having that information available to me has changed my understanding of like what it means to like prepare myself for stuff. You know what I mean? Because if I step into everything, like sometimes you just got to get in there, and that's what your teacher is. You know what I mean? The actual experience, the situation. But you gonna get your head knocked up. You gonna get knocked upside the head so many times. You are gonna get a concussion. You know what I mean? Going through different trials and tribulations with stuff. If you get somebody to kind of like guide you along the process, or at least give you some education, you know, not gatekeeping no shit, it's helpful.
Yep.
It's not, they could tell you how to lift weights, but they can't lift the weights for you.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's, in a sense, you still have to do the work.
Yep.
So for me, part of doing the work now is seeking that information. Because you would leave yourself vulnerable if you don't, in some cases. Yeah. And we implore everybody that's listening, bro, like really,
like you got to get down into the weeds.
Yeah, sometimes stuff, it requires you to become the artist yourself to figure out what kind of art you want to get into. Like you're never gonna know until you experience the shit.
Bar.
And then for me,
that's so true.
I feel that experience, like I was just so content in trying to worry about enjoying myself when I needed to be worrying about.
You were at that age though. Yeah. I mean, you know, that's hard. That's hard not to do. Like, what are you talking about?
And then you ain't got nobody telling you different.
Right.
Ain't got nobody telling you different.
On your own.
On my own.
In Utah.
And then I was going through my 20s in the same manner, just with different stuff. So like real life, the sooner you unlock this shit, the quicker you are to the race. You lapse ahead of people of your age group. Yep. If you're able to get to certain information or unlock certain things in yourself.
And then apply it. And apply it is the biggest thing. You know,
a lot of people will sit on the sidelines with all that knowledge.
I know.
All that knowledge, not doing shit.
Yeah, I used to be one of them. I used to just get information just to get it, you know? Yeah. And then I'll, you know, because I'm a starter, like, you know, I start shit instantly. Mm-hmm. Like, no matter.
You pick it up.
Let's do it. Yeah. You know, I pick things up really fast. And so, you know, what it ended up being was just like, you know, I lacked the consistency.
Oh.
You know?
Why do you think you lacked that? What do you think was like?
I think because, and you know, here's the thing, because I have to reframe how I view that about myself, because I do have consistency in a lot of areas. You know, it's just, I was trying so many different things that I kind of fooled myself into thinking that I wasn't consistent. I was just trying to find the next thing. And so I was doing a lot of different shit and it just wasn't sticking for whatever reason.
You weren't how you are now, where you dive deep into a specific thing. And
I was diving deep. I just was just like, you know, it ended up not being for me at the end of the day, because, you know, like, you know, sometimes, you know, you can force yourself to do something, you can, but, you know, like what we talked about a couple episodes ago, you know, like if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, you're always going to call that fish stupid. So, you know, and learning the specific thing, right? So based on my unique talents, I'm uniquely suited to do X, Y, and Z, for instance. But if I'm doing A, B, and C, then it's always going to like
resistance.
There's always going to be resistance there. you know? And so I had to figure out and I had to find, and I did a lot of searching, bro.
Mm-hmm.
I did a lot
Introspectively or
introspectively, outwardly, everything, man.
Mm.
Talking to people, taking different courses, reading different books, experimenting with different things. You know what I'm saying? Like testing this out. And so it was a good 4 years of that. And when you do that for 4 years, I probably took longer than most people in that aspect.
Mm.
But when you beat your head up against the wall and you've tried, I'm not even gonna bullshit you, like 15 different business ideas,
Yeah.
and none of them stick,
Yeah.
bro, your confidence dips a little bit.
Man.
I'm not gonna lie to you.
And that's the thing too. Let me ask you this. Cause
And
I myself,
was just like, am I cut out for this shit?
yeah. And let me ask you this real quick, because I'm similar, right? So I want to know kind of your experience from this. In that moment, or in those moments, right, when your confidence dips, like everybody's had that experience. Everybody goes to that. Some people going through that now. Like, what got you out of it?
Sheer will.
Oof.
Because that's all you have left. Like, the motivation's gone. Everything is gone, bro. Everything is gone. The inspiration, like the energy. You know what I'm saying?
You was
like
bare down to your bare bones.
I had nothing left in terms of
completely exposed, and it was just will that pushed.
Bro, I'm telling you, there'd be days I would get up and I'd just be like, bro, I'm telling you, there were days where I would get out of bed, bro, and my will to go, bro, the urge to say F it and just roll back into bed would be so strong. Bro.
Yeah.
And just quit. The urge to quit would be so strong. I can't even describe it.
That shit got you in a chokehold.
Showing up late to work, bro. Just like
that shit almost had you in a chokehold.
Oh, bro, I'm telling you, I was drowning, bro. I was drowning, and I threw myself a lifeline. And so, you know what I'm saying? Like, I always, you know what I'm saying? Like with that term they use.
Listen to for a second. You threw your own self.
I threw myself a lifeline,
bro.
I found a new level, bro.
And we can get back on top, but that right there helps shape the foundation of like perseverance and structure. Because I'll tell you this much: a lot of people have those lifelines or have those people that can kind of save them, and they get so comfortable with that.
Well, go ahead and speak on it, because we just talk about this the other day, bro? We are the safety net, bro. I don't have parents that got money. I don't have family members that got money. I don't have.
You got to reel yourself back in sometimes, man. So what was that thought like?
I'm out here on, you know what I'm saying, on Mario where you got zero. I have zero HPs left, bro. I have zero mushrooms. I'm on this one-way track, and if I don't do it, then I fail.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't have it any other way.
Okay, speak on it.
I wouldn't have it any other way.
And
why would I want another chance? I don't want another chance. I want one chance, and I'm gonna fucking go balls to the wall. Forgive my language. I'm a do something so ridiculous. You know what I'm saying?
And that's crazy, because that definitely aligns with your personality altogether. And when you threw yourself that lifeline, right, and you were kind of just like having that internal dialogue and shit like that, when did you know you really had that spark, you had it in you to turn this around? So everybody has had those down moments, bro.
Yeah.
And that I could tell you, people might get that spark and not even realize it or not take advantage of it. How did you identify that? Like, and how did it feel?
Well, I'll tell you, it was so, you know, like I said, back to those mornings, like it was bro, it was really one of those things where I was just like, I was in such autopilot that I just, like, sometimes I wasn't even present, and I would just wake.
Like
and
when you're driving and you remember that you
road
driving?
amnesia. Yeah, bro. Like I would just,
like,
I'd just end up at work.
What the fuck?
I'd be like, damn, I made it. You know what I'm saying?
Shit.
And then it would just get a little bit easier and a little bit. And so to go back to your question, you know, how I self-rescued, that's a term they use when people fall into like crevasses and on like they're in Antarctica and they fall into like a crevice.
Oh shit.
Between the ice. Yeah, like the only way to save yourself is a term they call self-rescue.
Self-rescue.
Isn't that, you know what I'm saying? I learned that from Joe Rogan.
Self-rescue.
But anyway, so I was like, I just found something. Like I had to get honest. Oh, that's what it was.
Mm-hmm.
And forgive me, I forget who said it, but it was it was somebody, I heard somebody somewhere say, the reason why you're stuck, I'm telling you, if you're really grinding and if you're really searching, the answers will come to you. Just don't quit. You just can't quit.
Push through.
You got to push through. And I was on YouTube one day, and I came across a video. I think it was Jocko Willink, and he said, okay, you don't have the results you want right now, and it described everything that I was going through. You know what I'm saying? You're struggling, like everything, bro.
Hitting everything.
And he was like, what you need to do is you need to get brutally honest with yourself right now.
People don't want to get that honest with themselves, though.
Bro, when you have, but you asked, right?
Yeah.
How did you, when you've got nothing left, like I explained, when you have no more willpower, when you've got no more energy, and you just on fumes, when you have nothing left, what he said to get honest with yourself was a revelation, bro.
It was probably the easiest thing.
I was like,
part of the whole process,
bro. I was like, all right, and I got honest with myself.
Yeah.
And I told myself, and I was like, and I took I looked myself and literally looked myself in the mirror, looked at my appearance, looked at my body, looked at my mental habits, looked at, you know what I'm saying, everything that I was doing. And I was like, damn, I got a lot of work to do.
You got some landscape.
I got some landscaping.
Yeah.
And that's what I did. And I got busy.
And when you got moving, you know what I'm saying, grooving, getting up, like, you know what I'm saying, you started establishing structure and putting things together. Like, describe the feeling once you kind of had that, not breakthrough, but you knew you was on the other side of that shit.
It was relief. It was like, okay, one, I felt solidarity because if somebody like Jocko Willink said it, then that leads me to believe that perhaps he had a similar moment, and I know that there's other people out there who are having
dealing with the same
moments.
shit.
Right. And so, I felt relief, and then, because I saw a way out, and then I was immediately met with, damn, it's going to take a lot of work. And so the only way to start is to start. And so, I don't know how I found the book, but I found the book Early Morning Millionaires, what the rich do before 5 a.m., I believe, or 8 a.m., or one of those two.
Yeah.
And I read that book, and from, start to finish, and it gave me the framework for my life today and how I've been able to accomplish what I've been able to accomplish these last few years. That book changed my life.
So it was essentially the moment that you realized that you had to search for answers, both internally and externally.
Yep.
You were able to pull yourself out of a situation that could have been terminal in the sense of your progress.
It could have been terminal, man.
Yeah.
It could have been, I could have, when they talk about like, well, I'm not going to use that example, but, well, I'll use it anyway. I do not condone the use of drugs, by the way. Nobody do drugs, but when you take certain drugs and it spikes all your feel good chemicals, right? Well, they don't return to baseline after they spike. They go into a lull, right? So here's baseline. They go below baseline for a period.
Gotcha.
72 hours or something like that. I don't know the exact time. Well,
the come down is what they call it.
The come down. Well, the problem is if you and this is why people get addicted, I think, is because if you go and you try to generate those feelings again by taking more drugs, you're further reducing your baseline.
Oh.
And so, like, if your baseline
crash is worse every time,
and it doesn't recover.
Ooh.
So that's why they always
baseline is shifted,
is lower.
down.
So that's why they say if you take drugs, right? If you take any of those sort of narcotics, then you need to wait before you take them again so that your levels return to baseline.
Okay.
Because if you keep knocking them down, then that's why people risk depression. That's how people get permanently depressed.
Got you. It's because they didn't use their natural ability to do it. They relied on some sort of substance,
right,
to correct that situation.
Right. So that's kind of the period that I was in when I was, I risked, if I didn't get out of it, I risked like dropping myself to a lower level. And I don't think you know what I'm saying? Like, and then you can only shoot so far from that point. You can only climb so far from that point,
And then now your new high is going to be like just your regular.
Exactly. And then you're going to be forever underachieving.
Damn.
So, but everyone has their own journey, and hopefully if people hear this, when they listen to it, it's
we implore you guys to take action and do so the hard way first and foremost. When it comes down to it, like our whole vibe is really that nobody's coming to save you.
Nope.
There's nobody coming to save you. And you shouldn't expect somebody to come save you, because the moment you do is the moment you accept defeat at that point. Somebody else has to get you out of that situation. And
it's true.
And niggas need to give me a record there for these bars that I'm dropping. But outside of that, it's really and we can wrap it up here in a sec. It's really about finding whatever it is in you, or whatever it is outside of you that will allow you to pull yourself out of your own head when it comes down to it. Because when you get stuck in that little situation, it gets you in a chokehold, and that it's hard for that motherfucker to let go.
It is. It's tough.
Without the right stimulus, you know what I mean? And we just implore everybody to really, really get after their goals. You know what I mean? Like don't expect other people to get you there. Don't expect other people's energy to get you there. Like, you have to be the vibe.
Yeah.
You have to be your own vibe. And then stepping into a situation or a room, like, you have to be able to bring, because when you have multiple people doing that in the same vicinity, you got the A, B, and C team.
Man.
You got the boys, you know what I'm saying? You got a squad that can't be touched. And in order for us to really achieve, you know what I'm saying, me and D, like, our best work, I feel that we first and foremost have to do so within ourselves. And then secondly, I have some sense of reliability on you, as you probably do on me, to fill in any gaps and to allow me to push more forward. You know what I'm saying? So for that, it's like,
team up.
Yeah. If you feel like you've hit a wall and it's just you can't figure it out, I mean, you don't have to do it alone.
You don't.
There's some power in admittance of you relying on and needing somebody else. That's fine. But however, they're not gonna just come save you. You ain't asking, you ain't requesting, you ain't getting involved. Like, they're not just gonna come over. Hey man, it happens to people, but it's very rare. You might be sitting there for a long ass motherfucking time before somebody pull up on you.
And time is precious. That's our greatest resource. So, you don't have time. Don't make the mistake in thinking that you guys got time.
So that's what we're leaving with then. We're leaving with the fact that, like, we want you guys, we're always going to leave some soft, actionable situation.
Let's do it.
Like, we'll just say this: don't wait.
Don't wait. Do it. Because you already know what you need to do.
Yes.
You're just waiting for whatever reason.
Waiting for some sign and some shit like that.
Here's your sign.
Yeah. We're the sign.
Go do it. Hey, Humanity's Last Hope. Don't forget to follow us. Connect with us. If you guys want to chat about this episode today, follow us on Instagram. Shoot us a DM and let's chat about it.
Leave us some reviews too. We didn't even speak about reviews yet.
Oh yeah, drop a review.
Drop some fire.
Good, bad, and different. Let us know.
I prefer the fire reviews, but and maybe one of these days we might read the reviews and shit. Like, we find fun in, like, not the embarrassing, but I feel the exposing our weaknesses and shit.
Yeah.
The vulnerable moments, like, you know what I'm saying? The stakes are low as shit right now.
We keep super low.
It's low as shit right now. As low as it's ever gonna be.
Period. Let's go.
Let's get it.
Humanity's Last Hope. Peace.
All right, y'all.